in our third look at carriers who have suffered at the hands of criminals. Joe Ball from Meyers Transportation Services describes the attacks his company has suffered. These include a hijacking in the mid-1990s, a much more recent hijacking, and some other thefts.
Hijacking in Montreal. Fellow was tied up, left in a warehouse. His whereabouts were reported a few hours later. Tractor, trailer, and cargo have never been seen since, none of it. From then until about 5-6 years ago, it was pretty much a dead issue. Nothing. A little bit of pilferage here and there. The last 5 or 6 years, we've had a number of attempted attacks and successful attacks. They simply stole one of our trucks from a local service center where it was being repaired. Went to one of our clients, went in, hooked to the trailer, so this all looks legit. Fortunately, we were blessed with a security guard that was earning his money. He insisted that everything looked fine, but he had to see the paperwork. Now, of course, he hadn't gone to the shipper's office to get the paperwork, and he hadn't done it. Long story short, the chap left the cab by the passenger door and is last seen running down the hill. But, you know, they get creative. So rather than make decals up or steal something from our yard, they go to a local place where a truck's being repaired, where security is virtually zip. And I think most of you would agree that most outside service facilities don't have those kind of concerns, especially in rural areas. We recently had a hijacking again in Montreal, very recently. Fortunately, we recovered the tractor load and trailer. The driver was not physically harmed. He pretty badly shook up, and to see this individual or talk to him, you'd think he'd be pretty unshakable, but he was well shook. There have been a couple of arrests made in that case, fortunately, and they're still looking for others. So everybody's working at it, but my point is that went from 95, so we went, 10, 15 years, virtually nothing. And in the last few years, it just seems to be accelerating. And we as an industry have to get out in front of our politicians, out in front of the people that control the money, so that they can equip the law enforcement community to deal with this. I've been to a number of these seminars, and I've heard the law enforcement community has challenges with communicating between Peel and Toronto, for crying out loud. They don't have the resources, and our people in government aren't giving them the resources. So we need to get out in front of this, make it clear that it is a huge problem, and anybody that says it's not organized crime is going to have to explain to me how you can take 40,000 pounds of a given product, have the trailer empty within 2 or 3 hours, and that product never seen again, and that isn't something somebody plans on a Saturday night. That's an organized business enterprise that people are doing. What we've done ourselves, we have physical barriers. All of our locations are gated and fenced. We have personnel on duty during dark hours and in our larger centers 24/7. We have some pretty sophisticated outgating on our facilities. Our larger facilities, you can't get out. We have communications from our dispatch to the security folks. Security folks are advised that this load is supposed to be leaving this tractor and this trailer and this driver, and if it isn't out the gate in 20 minutes, it doesn't get out. If the tractor and trailer don't match, it doesn't get out. If you try to go out on the left-hand side, you wind up with all your tires flat. We now triple vet carriers that present themselves to us as people who want to move loads on our behalf. So now instead of simply calling the insurance broker they list on the document they send us, we call the insurance company. And we get that off the internet or Yellow Pages or somewhere, not off information that's provided to us, to find out that, okay, yeah, they do exist, they are legit, those kinds of things. What the industry could do better as a whole is just make more noise. Report this stuff, work with the insurance bureau, push your local legislators to help you out, to equip our people to defend ourselves. I see statistics from, for instance, CargoNet, and they report 240 thefts, say, in a U.S. state. And I look at that and I almost chuckle. There's got to be multiples of that number happening that aren't being reported to anybody.
Even though it's the carriers who take the hit when a theft occurs, Ball says shippers need to start taking cargo crime more seriously.
Have to concern ourselves with, and this is what I hope our shipper partners start to think about, is no matter what the carrier does to control insider information, to control the people that know what's going on, our customers, our shipper partners, have got to help us out with that, because they know what's going on, which truck, when it's loaded, where it's going, every bit as well as our folks do. And they're every bit as vulnerable to the various kinds of pressure that can be put on people as our folks are. So somehow we have to try and get the shipper community engaged in this as well. Goes back to the old thing, well, the load got stolen, either the carrier pays for it or the insurance company pays for it, but it's not on the shelves, it's not out there. If it's something special, it's something seasonal, you may not be able to replace it in time. So we need to get the shipper community engaged in this just as much, and it all comes back to putting pressure on the folks with the money, in other words, our government officials, to fund the frontline people that are trying to protect us against this.